Hey, Anthony, Friday!
You know
Woohoo!
what today is?
Uh, Friday?
I'll tell you after this.
Button. Oh, yeah. Friday, feeling good. Anthony, we're about to head off into the weekend. How you doing, sir?
I would really like somebody to take those controls out of your hands.
I would like that too. I am apparently, I cannot be trusted to hit the right buttons at the right time with the right cues, but what are you going to do? Here's the issue, Anthony. If I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I look at you and you're so dreamy that I totally forget where I am and I screw it all up.
So you know what? Today is the day that kind of sports are happening.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And everybody who knows me knows I'm a die-hard sports fan. I can't get enough of them.
So
all right, I know. I don't really care about sports, but it's so exciting to see that everything's coming back now.
I thought you did like sports, but the what's interesting is I was watching a baseball game last night, and there was one baseball game that was like there's nobody in the stands, and it is what it is. Then there was another baseball game, and they have fake pictures. They have pictures of people, fans. Like it's stupid. Like I can't concentrate.
Yeah, it's really weird. But empty stadium would be weird too. So
yeah, but you know what? I'd rather you just pull like a cover with your logo on it and hide the seats.
I think that's the right idea.
Right, but I'll deal with the empty seats before I deal with a bunch of cutouts. That's so stupid.
It seems weird to me. It's kind of like at the Oscar ceremonies when they're doing the rehearsal, they put in all the cardboard cutouts of celebrities.
Yeah,
it looks
ridiculous.
Looks kind of hokey. I'll tell you. All right, I know you don't. I know you're not a fan of it, but what are you looking for? A better co-host or something?
No, there's something bothering me.
Oh, God almighty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is how today is going to go. Okay, I love that you love his peach tie. That's it's very sweet.
So thank you so much about that comment. I really appreciate it. I like the peach tie, and I'm glad you like it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I haven't won it in years. The Dodgers sold those cutouts for up to $3. What do you mean? Oh, it was a picture of a fan. Oh, so like if I wanted my picture,
right?
Oh, got it. That's a little bit better.
All right,
we should have done it where it looked a little bit more, like a little bit more professional.
Right. All right, I get it now. Still stupid, but I like the idea a little bit. Still like the idea a little bit more. Now we lost you on sound, brother.
That was David, one of our great producers.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So, Anthony, all the sports are coming back. We're talking about it. The NBA is starting their scrimmaging down in the bubble over at the Walt Disney World complex in Florida. That's going to be pretty interesting. I believe hockey is going to be playing in 2 different locations coming up really, really soon. So for sports fans out there, that's absolutely great. And I don't look at it as me being a sports fan, but I'm a fan of getting back to normal. I'm a fan of travel, and it's great to see that this is a step back to normalcy, even with all the backdrop of case increases. I do not hear you. I do not hear you at all.
What's great is it gets people back to work. My dog was barking, so I was trying to mute it.
Oh, okay.
It gets people back to work. Not only the players, because people got to understand, players got bills too. Not everybody makes LeBron James money. A lot of these players, not saying that they're poor, but a lot of these players, they got to work to pay their bills. And so that's great. When the hotel people are working, the facility people are working, the people that pack their bags and the people that help them, they're working.
That's right.
People back to work, which is a really big deal. And like I've said before, MMA, UFC, they've been working now for a couple of months. I'm looking forward to another show this weekend. And it's kind of kept me kind of like, okay, at least we have sports. So thank God it's coming back. And I'm a big baseball fan, but I can't get into no fans in the seats and cutouts. So I'm having a little difficult time with it. But every once in a while, between late at night when I play UFC or I watch UFC or I watch poker or I play poker, I'll throw a baseball game on just to make me believe that things are a little bit normal. But so it's exciting. It's really, really exciting. Look how excited I am.
I see that you're super excited. Well, I used to love baseball back in the 70s and 80s. I kind of lost track with baseball in the early 90s when they had that strike. I just kind of got disgruntled by the whole thing, and I got to go to a hockey game this year before everything shut down. I found that to be a lot of fun. So it was exciting to see the NHL has finally unveiled the name of the new Seattle team, the Kraken, which is a lot of fun. It has a double meaning. But Anthony, you're not liking that name so much, are you?
Tell people what the double meaning is. So people can disagree.
Of course, it's the legendary cephalopod creature from what is it? Norse traditions and stuff like that. So you got that big scary monster, which is pretty cool. And then
that makes sense.
And then with ice and the violence of ice, cracking heads and all of that kind of stuff. It has that little that double feel to it. I kind of like it, and the logo is pretty badass too.
Yeah, I haven't seen the logo, so if Jeff can pull up the logo, I like to look at it. But you know what's badass? I'll tell you what's badass. Our producer Dave just reminded me of something I'm really freaking excited about. I'm really excited about it.
What is it? What is it?
Versus Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, that's right.
54 years old, going against Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. is one of the quickest and fastest punchers ever. He's not a real heavyweight, but he's traded up to heavyweight once or twice, and I think he won actually the time he did it. Mike Tyson obviously is the baddest man on the planet. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? As Mike Tyson says. This is what I think. Okay, so that fight, I'm really freaking excited. I'm going to play pay-per-view, and all the funds from Mike Tyson goes to charity. Roy Jones is going to keep the money. But Mike Tyson is actually going to give his money to charity, even though he can use it a little bit because he's a changed person. But this is what I'm excited about. Mike Tyson still is Mike Tyson. When you see him on some train, wow, that's nice. I like that. See, that's nice. That's really nice. Wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I like that.
The color scheme is good. And Jeff, if you could find a picture of the uniform too, with the blue and the red and the black, it looks pretty awesome.
Favorite colors. Those colors are my favorite colors. I wear dark blue suits and with a light blue tie usually, so I love that.
But not today, because you're wearing peach and maybe feeling peachy at the same time because sports are back.
I'm wearing peach because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to wear every single tie I have and not wear the same tie twice and see how many days I can do that. And I think I may be able to go to a couple hundred.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I have at least 200 ties. But
anyway. I had a whole lot of ties that I recently got rid of because they're all like super skinny ties from the 80s, and then really extra wide, thick ties like they had in the 70s. And
you and I have committed to me helping you with your overall dress, right? Is
that what we agreed on? I totally missed out on that.
No, but are you comfortable talking about it?
Oh yeah, I'm comfortable talking about most anything.
So I haven't said anything in a long time, if you don't remember. So if you'd like me to, this year I can. We can get you to the next level. We can get you really nice ties. How about that?
Say that now. Say that one more time.
We can get you really nice ties. Can we start with a really nice tie?
We could get me that. I don't think I would wear them though. I've spent decades lobbying against ties and stuff like that. Right. So I just can't. In fact, I have actually been credited at creating the no tie movement at some of the hospitality financial conferences where everybody would wear them all the time, but I took a stand and I said, no ties for me. I'm not going to do it. And now so many people have adapted to that.
I'm getting back to ties, but you know what? So let's get back to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones.
Yes.
Are you a big boxing fan? No, right?
All right. I like boxing more than I like other sports. And I should say, I don't like watching sports on TV. I would go to see a professional sporting event, no matter what the sport, if I could go live. It's fun. It's exciting. You get to have some beer, some snacks. To me, the social aspect of it and all of that being with your buddies is awesome. So I love doing that. And
I like that from time to time, but I'm more watch sports by myself. I don't like watching sports with people because
there we go.
What's this? Okay.
This looks different than what I saw yesterday.
I liked two of the three.
I don't like the green.
Yeah, I'm not a big green guy. But there's probably some kind of reasoning for the green. The Kraken's probably green. But I like it. It looks like more like the one on the right, my right, looks like a soccer jersey almost.
It does, as a matter of fact.
So it's all good. It's all good. And
Mike Tyson.
So Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Oh my God, this is going to be unbelievable. So Mike Tyson, he basically comes from like low. He's always going up. right? He's always moving side to side. There's nobody that moves better
Sorry,
than
Colleen's got some really nice thighs. Wonder where you got those from.
and you go up. He comes up. Roy Jones Jr. is more of a jab and move, jab and move, jab and move.
Right.
This is what's going to happen. If Mike Tyson cracking him, no pun intended, in the first round, he will go unconscious because Roy Jones Jr. has never taken a punch from a guy like Mike Tyson, a real heavyweight.
How old is Roy Jones Jr.?
51 years old.
51. So Mike Tyson probably in his early 50s.
54.
All right. How you think Mike Tyson can still have that punch at his age?
He does. I see it in training. He does.
Wow.
He does videos, and it's crazy. It's crazy. He still has it. Listen, he's atypical. He's just once in a generation, once in a lifetime, and his power comes from his legs, right, and his hips, and he knows how to use that force. Mm-hmm. He doesn't throw from his shoulder. He doesn't throw even from his hip.
Right. You got to throw from your whole body, right?
He really throws from his legs, like completely force. Like somehow, yes, I was lifting, right? So as I was lifting, when I was trying to just lift without using my knees and force, I really couldn't lift that much. I all of a sudden use my force and I can lift almost 3 times as much as I can lift it with a strict press. Mm-hmm. So he knows how to use that force better than everyone because when he was trained as a kid, they said you're short, and if heavyweights are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", the only way you have a chance is to come up from below. So I think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to knock him out quick. But if Roy Jones brings him into the 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th round, I think Roy Jones is going to knock Mike Tyson out.
Interesting. Yeah. So how many rounds do you say it's going to go?
I think it might go 8 because I think what they'll do is somehow before the fight, they'll agree that, hey guys, let's go hard, but let's go like a hard sparring. Let's try not to knock each other out. We're old men. Let's give them a show, but let's not knock each other out. And I think it's going to go the full 8. I think.
Where are they fighting? Are they fighting in Vegas?
I don't think that's been announced yet.
Okay,
it's just been announced, but it's friggin' fantastic.
When will it be? When is
September 18th, I believe. And what's interesting? You asked me all the questions that were answered. David posted the date. I said how old they were in the beginning. Anything
all right?
Asked me, I've already answered.
Yes. Let me look through our questions right now. And, I'll make sure that.
Let me tell you why it's interesting. Tyson is just mythical, and Roy Jones was fighting 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So Roy Jones was still fighting 2 years ago. And if he makes $10 million off this fight, he'll make more money he did when he was 31 years old. So this is a good payday for him. Mike Tyson, when he got out of jail, they gave him a briefcase worth $50 million.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind, Anthony. Lucky if it goes 50. No, what I'm saying, Mark, is I agree. I don't know if it'll go 1 or it'll go 5 or 6. I'm saying if they have a gentleman's agreement to not go full force, which I don't think anybody wants to see 2 middle-aged men.
Yeah.
With their teeth on the canvas. I think we want to see a really hyper-competitive, hyper-athletic fight. I don't think anybody wants to see anybody knocked out. But if they don't, one of them get knocked out.
Well, nobody wants to see them get knocked out. Isn't that half the fun of boxing?
It depends. It depends on your take. Like one of the reasons I love MMA and UFC is because when somebody starts getting beat up, they get stopped to fight. I stopped watching boxing a long time ago.
Right.
I don't like seeing people's brains get bashed in.
Yeah, I feel the same way. As a matter of fact, Anthony, I was the guest of one of the major casino resorts once to go see the UFC. This is a number of years ago. This is before it was even legal to do in New York. And a number of people got hit so hard, they got knocked out and they were out. Right. I did not like that. I felt weird about the whole thing. It felt like very blood sport, weird for society.
Well, the history of MMA and UFC, for those people that tuned into our show today, welcome to boxing.
Right. But, now we're more like the Joe Rogan podcast than ever before.
But what I like boxing, I don't like seeing people's brains shake. On MMA, what I love about is the competition of it. There's no more just real man-on-man, women-on-women competition in the world than getting in the cage and locking it. What I like about it is I've got to stop you in order for this to stop, or unless we go to 3 or 4 or 5 rounds, depending if it's a championship fight, it's 5 rounds. If it's not, it's 3 rounds. And just so you know, in boxing, they're now a 12 3-minute rounds. In UFC, it's 3 5-minute rounds if it's non-championship, and a championship fight is 5 5-minute rounds. And what I like about that is if you get hit in MMA, they stop the fight if you can't defend yourself. In boxing,
Right.
as long as you're standing up, they're not stopping the fight. And I think it's a lot more dangerous. Listen, I don't remember anyone in UFC ever dying, ever. Boxing, they die every day.
Yeah.
Someone dies every day. So I think it's completely. So I'm more of an MMA fan now, although I grew up on boxing and love Mike Tyson.
No, but we all grew up on boxing, right?
I don't want Roy. I don't want Mike Tyson to beat Roy Jones. I want Roy Jones to beat Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson has name recognition and everything else. Roy Jones being a legend, a Hall of Famer, and all that. Most people, if you're not a boxing fan, you barely know who Roy Jones Jr. is.
Right.
Do you know who he is?
No, I've heard the name, but I'm in the barely know who he is category.
Right. So I want him to get a little bit
like
more.
if someone gave me a multiple choice test with the sports, I probably could identify which sport it is, my best guess
So
kind of a thing.
Right. So
Yeah.
I went to,
All right. So I got
so thank you. Dave, you have any other? David, you have any other comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, Anthony, Glenn, for charity, the two of you, 5 rounds, fluffy gloves, who wins? Well, first of all, Anthony will probably win.
What happened?
Someone wants us to go 5 rounds. Here, check this out.
Me and you?
For charity, yeah. We go 5 rounds, fluffy gloves, who wins? I might consider I might consider doing one of those oversized sumo wrestler suits where we put those things on and roll around like that. But
no, because Glenn has that I don't fight strength. Those people that don't fight strength are scary people.
That's right.
Those kind of people.
I'll also look like people. If I started doing it, people would say, "Does he have a medical condition of some sort?"
Exactly.
What's going on?
I'll look good losing. You'll look bad winning.
I mean, it's definitely not a good situation for me. No matter what happens there.
Now, what you can do is you can start asking me questions about other maybe reality star shows and who's going to win, and that'll get me in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, you remember? Didn't they have a show where a couple of TV show stars would box? I think Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell was one of the ones that had to fight like Willie Ames or something like that from 8 is Enough and Charles in Charge.
Willie Ames went on to become a director of a cruise ship, believe it or not, for years.
Willie Ames did?
Yeah. He was a drug addict, and then he got clean and went to become a director of entertainment for a cruise ship.
Oh, well, good for him for getting cleaned up and getting a cool job like that.
I thought that was interesting. But anyway, see all this information you learned on a Friday?
I know. I got to be honest with you, Anthony. I'm having a lot of fun having this conversation. It's fun to just kind of put the day-to-day stuff aside, especially since it's been a tough week for America.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I really like people start asking me what reality stars I would go against. That would be fun. But
so who could you take out?
No one. No one. But there are some other people. One in particular, reality show star that for some reason has a beef with me. I won't mention his name. And if you looked at me and you looked at him, you're like, oh my God, he's going to kill you. Meaning he'll kill me. And I would just simply say I wouldn't wager a lot of money on that bet.
Right. All right. So people are saying it was celebrity boxing, all of that. I think we should do celebrity death match where you and I go at it, but we're claymation figures. I think that might be fun.
I like that. Mark Cordo says, bring back the liquor folks on Friday. I am completely open to that. As long as it doesn't get into, it looks like we're advertising for these people. If we have somebody that we like my bartender friends down in from Spanglish, the bar Spanglish in Miami, like just where it looks less set up. Just matter of fact, maybe you just you ask, like, you challenge bartenders or you have them come on and throw things around or whatever. But I just didn't like the whole, like, I just don't like it. Just looked too set up.
Yeah, it felt a little bit manufactured for him, and I ham it up and kind of get into that mode, which Anthony called me out on, which he should have, because we don't want to have that feel like the show is an advertorial at all.
Right. And I also don't want to. It also gets us in a place where my energy is like, yeah, I don't really care, and your energy is like, ah, and we look ridiculous.
That's not good. That's not good. Because as we all know, I get a little sometimes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we don't need me to be too over the top.
I will just say, Anthony and Pitbull, we will be competing, but it will not be in a boxing match. I'll just leave it there. It won't be a singing match.
No, they're gonna go head to head in a rhyming battle. Is what they're gonna.
No, I will lose that too. I'm not. Listen, I'm a tough guy, but I'm not a fighter. I don't like fighting. I don't like. A long time ago, somebody in my family, I'll say it like that. Like, you know how in the mafia, in your family.
I got the reference.
Right. So in the family, and he knocked his best friend out, and he killed him. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm never going to put my hands on somebody unless my life is threatened.
Right.
So I'm just not a fighter because he didn't mean to. And he actually didn't go to jail, believe it or not, because it was self-defense. Mm-hmm. But he punched him. He hit the ground. It was like Joe Rogan says. Joe Rogan can kill 99% of people on earth with a back kick. Mm-hmm. And he says, you're a bunch of fools if you're fighting in the street. Because it's not the punch is going to kill you. It's the contact that can kill you. And so, yeah, I'm not a big fighter, but anyway, so sports.
Wait, hold on. Our friend Art Lurie says my default is always an 11, which is true. It's funny. Art has.
11? I don't get it.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, my default is 11.
No, but I default what? What are we scaling?
And the energy scale. Low energy is the one. Right. It's funny because whenever Art and I are doing video shoots together, he always, before I do an interview, he's always like, calm down, just calm down. And he always puts me in the right head to be normal.
Like to ask people in comments is, what's your favorite sport? My favorite sport is, first, Glenn, you go. What is your favorite sport? If you were going to play a sport and you were going to make a living playing a sport, what will it be?
Curling.
Okay.
I grew up playing soccer and doing all of that. So I probably would have hewed towards that if I had any athleticism in me.
What is Radio Master? It's time to leave the toilet. What does that mean?
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe,
is he trying to be funny?
I don't know. Could you please explain your comment? Maybe English is not his first
or maybe
language.
We just get rid of him. Maybe we just block him. Maybe he's a troublemaker.
Oh no, we'll find out.
So
Mark agrees. Curling, thank you, sir.
So if you would do a sport to make a living, it would be soccer.
I think so. I really loved that growing up. I remember going to the Cosmos in the early 70s, mid 70s, rather. I actually got to see Pele's last game that was played at Giant Stadium, right? And he played, I remember this, he played the first half or one half of the game. I think it was the first half for the Cosmos, and then the second half for the Brazilian national team. And then afterwards, everybody hugged it out and they carried him around in Steyr Stadium. And it was like, I couldn't believe I was part of such an incredible event. And then after that, I got really into going to see the New York Arrows at Nassau Coliseum, which was indoor soccer. I thought that was an exciting, fun, fast-paced game. I actually didn't suck at it when I did that myself in indoor gyms, and that was a lot of fun. So I think soccer is just the right amount of bumping into each other and stuff. I could never have handled football. Baseball, I wasn't motivated enough to stay awake. I would be in the outfield and kind of like looking around and stuff like that.
The Playboy was fun. So I have so many sports I would want to play.
What is yours?
But I would say if I can make a living at it, if they had not the professional, WWE wrestling at all, I don't watch that, but like collegiate wrestling, I was a high school wrestler. So if I can make a living being a professional collegiate wrestler, that kind of style, 100% that would be my sport because it is hyper competitive. It's one-on-one. No one's getting punched in the face. And you're still on a team sport because every weight division gets a point. So if I'm in the whatever weight division and I win, I get certain points. So I add those points to my team's points, and over whoever has the most team points wins. So it's an individual sport. There's a lot of pressure on you to support your team and also to win. But also you feel just that we've done it together. So I think it's the best of both worlds. I would also love to race cars for a living, but I think now I would never do that. I would go train to try to wrestle again, but I would not. I think I'm too scared now to race cars 170 miles an hour. When I was in the Autobahn in Germany and I did 170 miles an hour on the racetrack, I poo-pooed in my pants a little bit, so I don't know if
Right.
I would do that. And then I would say baseball. I would love to be a baseball player. Again, MMA, I would love to do it, but I know now, I'm talking about now, not like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, if somebody said which sport, I would say MMA. I would want to be an MMA fighter because I don't think there's a better conditioned athlete on planet Earth. Matter of fact, there was just a really great women's fight in MMA, and you really saw the skill. You really saw that two women can compete in MMA, go at each other, and people want to watch it. It was actually the main card. And whereas 5-10 years ago, people were like, nobody wants to see two women beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, we do. If it's really high and real technical. So the technique and the conditioning now at the level of MMA that UFC puts on is it's almost looks like a computer.
Right. All right. I like that. I'm just thinking about two women fighting out front of a bar. Not good. You don't want to see that. But in the ring, highly trained. That's a totally different type of scenario.
Before I fight some of those girls that went to my high school.
All right. So we're getting to the bottom of that last thing of this particular quote. He said, Radio Master, time to leave the toilet. I think he's referring to my background.
Okay,
over here. Colleen says she loves the background.
No, I don't like the
Jamie says she does not like the background.
No, I think the background's got to change.
I would like all of you out there, if you have a better background that you'd like to suggest, let me know what do you think it is. Send me an email, Glenn, Glenn, at rouse, rouse.media, Glenn@rouse.media. Send me a background. Maybe we can get that on the show next week, and we can figure out what would look good for me. I tend to agree with you. I think it's okay, but I think we could do better.
I don't like it. So one of the things that I'm hearing, get off sports for a second, or we're done with sports, but great idea from Jeff to talk about sports today. I really like that, our producer.
Yep.
And then David, thank you for sending those comments. But you know what I'm getting a lot of? Listen, I am an optimist. I'm a realist and an optimist. I'm not a pessimist at all. It doesn't even come into my brain. If it does, it's there for a second. So I'm an optimist. I'm a realist. People are out of work, and a lot of our hotel friends are out of work. Mm-hmm. So we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of talk about how do you make the switch? How do you make a change? And listen, I think I'm pretty convinced that a lot of people have to change. And unfortunately, they may have to change out of the industry.
Right.
And I think if you went to college for hospitality, double down. You're gonna make it. Just double down. But if you're like when you're 40, 50 years old and you're thinking about leaving, like, again, I talk about leverage. What's your leverage to leave? If your leverage is pretty high, like a 7, go. Right. If it's an 8, you should have went already. And if it's a 9, what the hell are you waiting for? If it's a 10, then you're probably not going to be successful, because if you needed a 10 to leave, then you're not at risk. You're risk adverse, and that's probably dangerous. And I go into the whole leverage thing and risk averse and all that in my book, but so I won't bore everybody here. But so what do people do to kind of switch and shift? And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are going to talk about it. But before we get into that, Anthony, you've got a WWE name now. It should be the Concierge.
So that's a great name. What should I do? Get in the ring, and the guy hits me, and he goes, "Would you like?" And I say, "Would you like some tea?"
Yeah.
No, I would be more like, I don't know. I'd rather like the housekeeper.
Right.
I'm coming to clean up things.
I like that. All right. Now I'm being told it looks like a swimming pool toilet background over here.
Can we get up your background?
No, I seem to be pretty hung up on it. So I'm going to try my best, but they keep pulling me back in.
All right. So let's talk about, let's go.
So let's talk about that. The fact is that we're at reckoning time right now. Right. And like my conference series reboot, maybe it's time to reboot your career. Maybe it's time to rethink everything. Maybe it's time for you to try to figure out something new. I'm hearing a lot of stories, Anthony, a lot of folks within hospitality going into things like healthcare and senior living facilities and all of these types of things. Plus, we hear a lot of other companies that have nothing to do with healthcare or hospitality looking to hire hospitality personnel because they realize those folks are really good at connecting with people and making a difference.
And not only good at connecting with people, I think if you're a real professional hospitality person, you've been doing this 30 years or 20 years, even 5 years or 10 years, and you're really capable, you can do anything. Because in any given day, as I said many times, is we're dealing with marketing, we're dealing with maintenance, we're dealing with customer service, we're dealing with roof leaks, we're dealing with web, we're dealing with Instagram, we're dealing with fashion, we're dealing with everything every single day, and cleaning. And so I think it's kind of like a military person. If you've been a successful military person, I really think you can do anything, because you're used to taking jobs that you don't have a lot of time to figure out and go figure them out. So go ahead, sir. I'll leave it to you to ask the questions.
No, I don't really want to ask questions. I got to be honest with you, Anthony. I'm all hung up on the background thing.
Dude,
Jeff behind the scenes is telling me to change it to some of the other ones. Mark is saying he'd like to frame fish pick. I agree with you on that. I mean, oh boy, he's dropped off. He's gone. I don't know what happened. All right, so now I am solo over here, and I would love to ask Anthony a question, but I can't do that because I'm all alone. Hey, and he has returned.
I didn't mean to do that. I just took myself out. I meant to mute myself because I was like, I just can't say it.
You took yourself out. You mean like you'll take out others when you become a famous WWE wrestler, the concierge?
What did we?
Let's get back on point. Yeah, changing careers is scary. Jamie, I know you quit your job and you just got a brand new one. I believe so. That's really great that you were able to make that change. Maybe share with us in the chat box what brought you to that.
You completely forgot what we were supposed to talk about, didn't you?
What with you?
And you're supposed to go through and ask me questions. And
no, I'm going to be doing that, right?
You just said you don't ask questions.
No, I didn't say I wouldn't ask you questions. I just said I don't want to.
You do the show. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having a complete meltdown here at the end of the week. But Anthony, the fact is, people, if you want to change your career, what are some of the things that you really need to think about it? You have changed your careers multiple times. You were in the military. You were running and operating hotels. Then you had a different job with Tishman, which is like development, which I see as a little bit different. And then you went all reality Hollywood on us, all that. So change after change after change. How do you continue to excel with all these changes? And how did you know it was time to change in the steps that you took to do it?
And again, we're going to discuss this throughout the book, but I have a serious problem with control. I was in the military and I love the control. I love the discipline. I love the structure. I love it because the people that I'm working with and the mission is so great. And I really respect the people. So I am really, I was good. I think I was good in the military, even though I got slapped a couple of times. I had to slap back, I had to get slapped back because I was really enthusiastic. And I didn't always listen. So I had to pay attention. So I do like discipline. I do like structure, but out in the world, out in an entrepreneurial world and out making a living, like I've said many times, most people don't care. Most people don't care if you can pay your bills. Most people don't care if you can, like right now, you're seeing it. These major companies laying you off. They furloughed you. They kept your medical benefits, but now maybe they can't keep medical benefits. The $600 is probably going to go away. So does anybody care? Yeah, in one end they do care, but they have to care about their brand, whether it be a Marriott or a Hilton. Does the government care? Yeah, maybe they do, but they threw some money into the economy so it doesn't tank. But at the end of the day, you may be on food stamps and welfare, and they're not going to really be able to do any more for you, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I've always had this thing in me that it's up to me, and that's it. And so I always said it's AnthonyMelchiorri.com before I had a .com, and that is my brand. So I've got to do my best. So anytime I decided to shift and go from a night manager to a director of operations or a director of operations to H.A. Ponner's bread company, where I ran a bread. Did you know I ran a bread company?
A bread company?
We never talked about this.
Does it look like we talked about this?
No, there was a company called, and that's why I want to do this, because there was a company called H.A. Ponner's. It's not H.E. Penis, it's H.A. Ponner's. It means behold the bread. Okay. And Sign of the Dove, which was a restaurant, was owned by a gentleman named Dr. Santo. Dr. Santo was a dentist and put himself through medical school. He opened up a little restaurant. Anyway, he became really successful. He had Contrapunto, Arizona 206, Sign of the Dove. All these restaurants that some of these people from New York may know, some of our fans. Mm-hmm. So one day, my friend Frank Speranza calls me up, who was a hotel guy, kind of a legend in our industry. And he said, hey, didn't you want to didn't you do something with bread? I said, well, I swept floors in Dunkin' Donuts when I was 13. He goes, yeah, but you work in a bakery. I was like, yeah, I swept floors in Dunkin' Donuts when I was 13, and they let me put the mixer on once. I was like, and I screwed that up. But anyway, I was like, no. And he goes, well, they're in trouble, and I know you can do it. And so I took the meeting. They offered me a good paycheck, a good bump in pay. And I said, I don't know anything about this, but I'll do it. And before I knew it, I was cold calling Starbucks. We were the first person to ever put biscotti and breakfast sandwiches in Starbucks. We got a $5 million contract.
Wow.
I cold called them. I got it done. We went to King Supermarket. I was selling biscotti on weekends, $14 a bag. And then we became the largest par bread company in the world. Right now, it is still one of the largest par bread companies in the world. You can go to King Supermarkets. Most of your supermarkets have it. And so we opened up retail stores. We got a loan from Prudential. They basically pushed out the old owners. Me being, I didn't have ownership, but I was director of operations for the old owners. Anyway, he got pushed out, but the company went on to great things. We set the standard for them to go on to great things. The guy who took my job was Europeans, the vice president of European operation for Nabisco. Okay, he took my job. And they allowed him to go back and forth to Europe, and he was making 10 times as much as I made. And then they sold it to Campbell's, and right now it's owned by Campbell's, and it's called Ecce Panes. But I started that business, and I helped it come out of like really bad financial problems.
Wow.
Because I took a risk. It'll all be in the book again. I don't mean to keep saying about the book. The book's a year away, so I'm not trying to sell a book. I'm just saying I'm kind of going through this in my mind because it's all fresh to me. And that day I was sitting at my desk, and my desk was a door, an old door with an old doorknob with two sawhorses was my desk. And I'm sitting there and I'm literally crying. I'm like, what did I do to my life? I got out of the hotel business. And everybody knows in the hotel business, once you leave the hotel business, they don't always ask you to come back. So I was nervous about that. Dr. Santos goes, this bag or that bag? I go, what's the difference? He goes, one's got payroll, one's got accounts receivable. So give me the payroll. We paid the payroll, we couldn't pay the accounts receivable. So, or accounts payable. So anyway, I called up Starbucks. I said, hey, I'd like to talk to the food and beverage director. She said, sure, I'll put you through, puts me through. And the young lady says, what's your name? I said, my name is Anthony Melchior from Ecce Panes. Is she expecting your call? I said, absolutely. Didn't even know the woman's name, man. Okay. I said, absolutely. She gets on the phone. I swear to God, this is a true story. She gets on the phone and she goes, is this Ecce Panes from 65th and 3rd? The retail store on 65th and 3rd? I said, yeah. She goes, guess who your first customer was? I go, I'm going to guess it was you. She goes, yes, I lived on 64th and 3rd, and I was your first customer. I'm a big fan. What are you selling?
Wow.
She comes on. She gets on the plane 6 weeks later. Craig Kaminiak, who actually, if you have a book called Baking with Julia, open up the centerfold. It's him and Julia Childs baking. He's the greatest bread baker in the country. He was our baker. And we got him on Julia Childs or Evelina, our director of marketing, did. And anyway, that was in itself, it's a legendary story. So my point being is, she came in, and there's a whole way I got those two together because Craig wouldn't want to do any other baking. He's like, we don't have enough room. I said, well, dude, we're going bankrupt because I don't care. I'm not doing any more baking. So what did I do? Craig, you don't know this, but you know what I did, Craig?
What?
I said, okay, but she wants to meet you. She thinks you're the best bread baker in the world. Between you and me, she didn't know who Craig was at that point. I was like, she wants to meet you. She wants to just taste your bread. You don't have to do a contract, man. It's okay. It's cool. Whatever you want to do. She came. You know what I did? I left. Mm-hmm. I left the meeting.
Right.
They fell in love. That was
it.
Well, they're not really fell in love, but they fell in love like they want to help each other. We got a $5 million contract. The rest is history.
I thought somebody was going to taste some bread over there. Huh?
So the rest is history. So I go in. I've never run a bake company before, and the rest is history. Okay, wow. that we turned it around. It's still in business, and we were successful in doing that. We had a great team. We put it together. We did wholesale, all kinds of stuff. So again, I never talk about that. But once I pivoted, all the things I've learned in the hotel business and all the things I've learned in the military, and my inability to worry about mistakes, and my inability to not that's why I like wrestling. Like I have to win. I have to do this. Got me there. And then after we got blown out by Prudential, I went back into the hotel business, and I think I went to, I don't know where I went after that. Was that Nicola? Was that, I don't know. I don't remember where I went. Maybe the Algonquin? I don't remember. I forgot. I forgot about my career. But anyway, so yeah, that was a major pivot. That was even as big a pivot as TV. But again, I know that I'm responsible for me. Yes, it's great to stay in the trajectory of your career, but all of a sudden you're vice president Marriott. Oh, I'm sorry, you're furloughed. Not your fault, not their fault, but you're done.
Right.
Because of what happened with COVID. So if you're going to say why me and you're going to play victim, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to figure it out. So I've pivoted my whole career because I'm afraid to put my career in somebody else's hands.
Right. Yeah, and you've got to be in control yourself. I see too many people allow things to happen to them as opposed to making things happen for themselves. And yeah, we all work for somebody at the end of the day, but you have to take control over your existence. So, Anthony,
I can't really read the comments. I'm trying to, but I can't see.
All right. So here's from first. Let me say, Jamie went back from an independent hotel to a branded hotel, and her stress is lifted, and she thinks that we've aided in her decisions and respect and love us. Thank you. We really appreciate that. We've been able to bring you some help. We are just trying to bring us all together, so it's great to see that we are making a difference. And Kyle is saying, this is my major concern. Smaller franchises and smaller independent hotel companies are the way to go. Seems they are taking over some corporate operations, and independent hotels have more flexibility.
What you have to do is you have to bet on yourself, not a brand, not a small company, not a big company, not an independent hotel, not a brand. You got to bet on yourself.
Right.
And you've got to say, what works for me right now? What works for me right now is an independent hotel making X amount of dollars in the city that I'm working in. I really want to do that. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Go do it and do a great job. And when that closes or they throw you out or you quit or you hate them, you know you're still in a position to go somewhere else because you built your career. When I went to that bread company and I cold called Starbucks, I didn't cold call them because I was smart. I cold called them because I was scared out of my brains. Right. And I said, one of the things I talk about is upside down thinking. So how do you go about doing that? You're sitting at your thing, you're crying, and you're like, what am I going to do? And I'm literally like, what am I going to do? And this is way before the internet, so I had to get Yellow Pages out to get their number or call the operator. I think I had to call the operator. And I remember.
Did you use your rotary phone?
Probably. And I said to myself, you said, yes, Anthony? Is that Gazoo? No, it's Anthony. Yeah. Okay. So what I said was, if I can go and sell to restaurants, which we were starting to do. I can go to the nice restaurant, sell my rolls. I can whatever. I can do all that, but that takes a long time, and I'm not a patient person. And we need to get a bigger production house, and we need to be successful immediately. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay, at the bottom of my list. Not top of my list, which would be restaurants in New York City. The bottom of my list is when we're successful enough, when our brand is strong enough, call Starbucks and say, "Hey, you want our bread?" No, I said, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom list. I'm going to go to the hardest account I can get. And if I get that account, there's nothing in my way. Right. It's just all green lights. Boom, we got it in all green lights. So I cut out 5 years, which we didn't really have. We would have went bankrupt. I cut out 5 years because I went to the hardest first. And I got lucky. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Well,
I made
so true.
To Starbucks, sight unseen, me. And I didn't know the woman's name. I didn't even have enough patience to find out who worked there because there was no internet or whatever, good internet. So I couldn't go to Google. There was no Google. Google.
It used to just be Google, which is just a number.
No, that was Eddie Murphy's say. Goonie Google.
Goonie Google and his wife Umfufu.
So my point is, that's Eddie. A house burger. Better than McDonald's?
All right, let's just do Eddie Murphy lines. Now that's a fire. It's all right. Put him out. Just roll around.
You be a no house walking the dog MF. My favorite channel. But anyway, my point being is, like we said, ask me some questions, see what comes up. I wasn't expecting to talk about it, Chip Honest, but it came up and boom, done. Now I will tell you, before kind of things, the old owners and the people that are no longer there left, they asked me to leave first. And I never really talked about that ever. And I was going to leave from my book, but I was slapped on the hand and they laid me off because we were successful. We did everything they told me to do, but I was a pain in the ass. So like we got the $5 million from Prudential. We've got Starbucks. We got King's. We got the retail stores. This guy's always, we're done with that energy. we no longer need your position. Well, I was the guy running everything. I was the
Right.
guy that brought everything together. But okay, see ya. And I went on to something else. But that was the first time in my career I was slapped, and I was so happy in retrospect because I got to the third rail. I was done because I saw the writing on the wall, and I got to the third rail, and I hit the third rail one too many times. And they were like, they came in my office, the human resources, and this gentleman I won't name because I still don't want to see him in a dark street. I feel bad for him if I do. And he, that was it. That was the end of my career there. But I heard later that somebody he's in the hotel business now, and somebody told me that it was the worst decision of his life, and I kind of agree with him because I really worked my butt off for that company.
That's really a shame.
No, it's not a shame. See, that's the point. That's the point. It's not a shame. What would have been a shame if I listened to them?
No, I'm saying it's a shame that he had that point of view.
No, it's great. It's great that he did.
For you.
No, it's great for everybody because they got what they wanted. And I won't tell you what happened afterwards because I don't talk bad about things like that. There's no need to, but no, it was all good. And that's, you have to take that moment. Yeah, it probably sucked at the moment, but it was the greatest thing ever because I never put my point is I never put my career in his hands. Right. I never said my mortgage is going to be paid by this company the rest of my life. Right. I never said this gentleman is going to take care of me. I'm not buying a job. I don't go in there to just get a job. I go in there to build my brand. And my brand is I went into a bakery that I believed in and put a team together that worked their asses off, and we got it done. And now I did it, in other places. So no, it was the greatest thing ever. It was the greatest thing ever. What is this comment here?
All right, so we got a whole bunch of we'll get to that one that just came up, but this is important. Let me pull this one up. I was thinking of looking into luxury senior living communities. I would think a lot of hotel leadership skills would transfer easily into this area. Would you agree on any advice on that? 100%.
Well, see, and I don't know if I wouldn't answer it that way. I don't agree with that because picture yourself in a senior living facility, a luxury senior living facility, and everything that goes with that. Okay, people dying, people getting sick.
Nah, it's not a senior living facility. That's a nursing home.
No, a senior living facility.
No, the senior living industry has blossomed and changed over the last 10 or 15 years.
Can I go back? I'm not saying that. I love when we argue. It's really
so do I. It's fun.
No,
wait, it's terrible. It makes for terrible.
I'm not saying, dude, I know what a senior living facility is, and I know most of my friends work there. I know what it is. I've been in a lot of nice ones. That's not the. So, Glenn, you don't have to tell me where the senior living facility is, okay? You don't need.
Maybe I do. We'll find out. Let's see
what I'm saying is, it's a different thing. People stay. They don't leave. They don't check out. When they check out, they're going to the funeral home. That's what I'm talking about. It's a different mindset. In hotels, people check in, they check out in 2 or 3 days, right? It's a different mindset. It's a completely different mindset. So that's what I'm talking about. So think about that mindset. And I would be cool with that. Most people would be. That's no problem. But it is a different thing. It is a different. Those people are shareholders. Those people are, meaning they're there every day. So a year from now, they're going to be there. If I have a client that I hate, a guest that I just don't like and he's paying the butt, just wait 24 hours, they're not there anymore.
Right. Well, those people will definitely be there, but there are a variety of different places that you could go to where the health of the people they're very active, they're very participatory. It's more like a cruise ship type of environment.
You're missing the point.
I don't think I am at all. I think that I think that senior living facilities are becoming more like hotels every single day, and there's a lot of skill sets that go back and forth between the two categories.
And you're missing the point. I'm going to say with a smile. You're missing the point because, of course, I'm not looking at we're doing it again, right? We're like, you're looking at your happiness. Is this a environment you want to be in? That's the first thing you have to look at. Okay? Not, they're nicer. Is this an environment that you want to be in? A hotel is different. In my opinion, a lot different. So look at that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we're not rating is working in a senior facility good or bad. It's just like, that's how I go about my job. Do I enjoy this environment? Okay. Yes, I do. Okay, I enjoy this environment. I can get over, I'm working with older people. I can learn a lot from them. They're going to be there 6 months from now. I can probably get mentored by a lot of these people. I can make sure they're taken care of when maybe their family's not around. Yeah, this works into exactly how I feel. That's all I'm saying. Think of it that way.
Right. Okay. Then I'm going to say, think of it this way. There's senior living is divided into skilled nursing, assisted living, independent living. There's a lot of different varieties that you could go into. Some are more akin to a typical traditional hotel type world or an extended stay hotel, while others have more of a medical focus.
Right. But if I don't, can you bring up the gentleman's question again? Because I don't think his question was, what are the merits of a senior living? The question was, should I make that jump? Is it a good career move? And so I'm answering that question. You're giving a review of senior living. So I think that was a little bit of a dig. Was that a dig?
No.
Come on.
We are going to fight, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it in the ring in sumo suits. Remember? Did we discuss this earlier?
I was thinking of looking into luxury senior living communities. I would think a lot of hotel leadership skills would transfer easily into this area. Would you agree on your advice? He didn't say, what does it like to work there? Whether or are they nice or they're not nice? What he's asking is, will his skills transfer? And what I am saying is, yes, your skills will transfer nicely, but do you want to basically use some skills that maybe you don't always use in the hotel business? Mm-hmm. Again, I'm a very kind person. I don't know if I can be kind to a person that's annoying for a year. So I don't know.
We work well together. What are you talking about?
So my point is I like the fast pace and the movement of everybody coming out of my hotel.
Right.
So ask yourself that question, but is it a sustainable business? 100%. Matter of fact, that's the next business. And if I can ask myself those questions of, would I enjoy this environment? I know it's going to be a change, but my skill set 100% transfers. But if you ask me, does your skill set transfer to a lot of things, including flight attendant? The answer is yes. So yes, I think it's a great option, but you have to always picture yourself somewhere. That's the biggest mistake that people make in their career, is they don't picture themselves in the position. I made that mistake at Tishman. I love Tishman. Greatest thing I've ever done for my career, because I learned two things. I learned a lot because of a lot of smart people, but I also learned what I don't want to do the rest of my life. Right. And I didn't picture myself sitting in a room with Cornell grads that report to me, doing cash flows and making, and basically digging down and finding pennies. That's not, I like doing it from time to time, but it's not what I want to do 10 hours a day. And I made a mistake. I probably shouldn't have went for the money and the position. And it was a really big position. I should have just said, you know what? I can't see myself doing this every single day.
Right.
And in retrospect, every single time I do something, now I look at not the money or the procedure, whatever. I look at, can I come in every single day and do this? I used to go to Times Square, walk into work, go, oh my God, I hate this job. And I didn't hate the job. It just wasn't my personality.
Right. Yeah, I understand. So what I think what you're saying is that while skill sets can transfer, is it actually right for you? You have to understand what that day-to-day job is going to be like. Will it challenge you in the way that you like to be challenged? But I think, Anthony, the underlying theme of all of this is one of the things that you say all the time: follow your passion, and everything else works itself after that. Yeah. If you follow your passion, if you work hard, then the career aspect winds up taking care of itself.
Yeah, and again, I agree and disagree. Follow your passion. But I can be a hotel general manager, and I'm following my passion. I want to be a general manager. Am I going to go work for the Four Seasons, Marriott, Hilton, or boutique hotel? Where do you see yourself getting up every single day? Where do you go? Do you want to go into a Four Seasons where it's very structured and you know what to expect? Or do you want to go into an independent where you can move up faster and people really listen to you and you can make decisions quicker? What kind of environment do you want to be in? So it's not enough of follow your passion. It's not enough that I want to try this. It's like you have to live this. One of the things I look at for myself is when I leave my house, I've got to maybe take a train or get in a car, and I've got to take that trip every day. Then I got to go through that door every day. Right. And I got to look at that person every day and look at that desk every day and look. And am I dreading doing that, even though I love being general manager? Because the environment I picked for myself is wrong. So I've always been a person, I've always had a button that I would push on my parachute that I'd be like, I'd be gone. And like, I'm never going to worry about my career or my job if people are not, if I'm not feeding my soul.
Right. Well, yes, but there are a lot of people out there that would say, but I got to feed my family and I don't have the luxury to make some of the
Right.
choices that
So,
you've made. But
so
you didn't either,
I
right?
didn't either. I didn't
So
either.
how did you do it?
I think we talked about, yes, if we didn't, we'll do it now. And I definitely talk about this scenario in my book. So I'm giving you a little sneak peek of my book. And Leonardo, nice to see you, brother. I worked with him at the Millennium Broadway 30 years ago.
Oh my goodness, you're a good manager.
Thank you very much. It goes down to your leverage factor, right?
Right.
100% your leverage factor. So what's your leverage? Leverage meaning, can I make that jump? My wife had medical insurance. I can make the jump. My wife had I can make the jump. I had a little FU money in the bank. I can make the jump. So my leverage factor was I had a little bit of leverage. So I made it at 7. I didn't have 5 years. Just let me finish the thought so I don't forget. It's not like 10. I didn't have 5 or 10 years FU money. I had 2 years FU money. I had medical benefits, and I can pay my bills for at least 2 years. And I could probably pay my bills the rest of my life because of the way I structured my life, because my wife has a pension and she has a job and she's a teacher. Right. So I wouldn't be doing a lot, but I can at least pay the mortgage.
Right. So, and you had a little bit of a safety net in that way.
And I spent my entire safety net. But I did it at a 7 leverage. Some people say I need more money. I need more leverage. I need an 8. And then some people say, no, I need a lot more money and I need a lot more leverage. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, and I said, could you leave your job? They said, yes. I go, great. Why don't you do it? He's like, well, I can't because I only have 6 months worth of savings and I'm afraid. I was like, well, then your leverage factor isn't a 9. It's a 6 or a 5. And you don't make a decision on a 5 or a 6 because
that's right.
You're not taking a calculated risk now. You're taking a dangerous risk. You're taking a risk and you may be successful. Are you willing to now fail and deal with the consequences of not medical insurances, going on maybe welfare? Are you willing to deal with those consequences? And if you are, you're a better person than me. And so you got to take so the leverage factor to me is life. It's everything. It's the blood pressure. When the doctor takes your blood pressure, right? He doesn't ask, does your finger hurt? He doesn't ask if you have a bad heart or a broken ankle, or are you mentally sound today, or do you have a job? He's asking, what's your blood pressure? Because if your blood pressure isn't right, you're going to die, right? So if your leverage factor isn't right and you don't pay attention to it, you're going to die. Your career is going to die. So everything comes back to how much leverage do you have. When I was at Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon, Tishman, I didn't have a lot of leverage in my brain, but I did. But in my brain, like, I have a really good job, I'm making a lot of money, and like, it's prestigious. So if I leave, I'm going to go backwards. I may have to take less money, and it's not as prestigious. So let my ego get involved. So my leverage, if I was doing my leverage factor, I wouldn't have allowed my ego to get involved. I could afford to leave. I will find another job, and I'm not worried about that. But my ego got involved, and I didn't have my leverage factor to look at, but I would have probably left before I did.
All right. So what if you're a person that only has a leverage factor of a 3 or a 4? How do you go about changing that so you could put your career in a better position to have more control over the decisions that you can make?
You evaluate it. And first, I want to say Tishman was one of the best companies I've ever worked for, and they're amazing people. I've learned more than I've ever learned in my life. Thank God for that education, because it really helped me on the show and everything else I do in my own business. But what I would say is, and what I do say is, the leverage factor isn't a dead end. The leverage factor is a meter. So now you got to do work. So if you say, I want to change jobs, or you know what, COVID just made me change my job. So now I want to go be a race car driver or whatever. So, or I want to go into senior living. So what are you going to do? Okay. Do you have medical insurance? No. Okay. Ugh. All right. So we want medical insurance? Yeah. Okay. So are you leaving a job? Yeah, I don't know if I would leave a job if I had medical insurance and I need medical insurance. So I have to wait until I can afford to give myself medical insurance, or I get medical insurance with the next thing I'm doing, right? If you're on COVID and now you don't have a job at all and you have medical insurance anyway, your leverage factor just went up 1, because now you don't have to worry about that because you don't have it anyway. So now is a good time to maybe make that risk, because I don't have it anyway and I'm figuring it out, and I'm maybe on the government system or whatever. So I have less of a worry about that. I'm not going to lose something. You don't want to lose anything. You know, the things you lose when you make that jump and you're thinking about your leverage factor, they shouldn't go into your happiness. So if you start losing things by making this jump and you're basically getting depressed because you don't have enough money, you don't have medical insurance, you worry about your family, you're not going to be at 100% to make that challenge and passion. When I went to TV, I had that stuff there. Everything was taken care of. My kids were taken care of. My everything was taken care of. I had 2 years to be successful. I wasn't. I had to change. I had to go back to doing what I was doing. But I had 2 years of freedom. So my leverage factor was at least a 7. That's what I'm talking about. You got to get it. So you have to work at every day.
Right.
A little bit to try to minimize the stress of making that decision. And as you minimize it, you get medical insurance. You pay down your debt. You start taking the subway and you get rid of your car payment. And now you're like, I have more money. I have more money in the bank. So my leverage factor just went up.
Right.
Okay. So you don't want, one of the things we do is we make decisions out of desperation.
That's right.
And then we realize the grass is always greener came out of the grass is always greener because we jump over the fence and we realize, oh crap, I want to get back over the fence. And a lot of times like, nope. I rarely would ever take somebody back that left. Rarely. There's got to be reason, because not that I don't want to. It's like, no. You left for a reason. You failed. So what? I'll support you in doing something else. You left because you weren't 100% happy. So I'll help you and support you doing something else, but you can't come back here because why would you beat yourself up every day? Why would you go back? Or unless you had an epiphany and said, oh my God, it was the greatest job I've ever had. And I changed my mind. So it's really important to understand your leverage factor is not a dead end. It is a barometer like your car. Like when you're in your car and you're looking at the speedometer and you're going 70 miles an hour, okay, make a decision. Do you want a ticket or you don't want a ticket? Well, I know I can get past this next 5 miles going 90 and there's no cops here. Okay, great. You've been that road 100 times. You know there's no cops there. And you got to get there because if you're not, you're going to be late for an appointment. Take a risk. We've all been there. It's like, I'm going to go another 10 miles an hour. Oh, woo, woo, woo. All right, that failed. Okay, but your risk factor or your leverage factor was pretty high because but you still failed. Does that example make sense?
Yeah, that example made sense to me. So what about this one? What do you think about stepping down in a position to make that change? You briefly addressed it, losing the title, prestige, and all of that. But sometimes that sort of thing could work for the greater good when it comes to your career.
Again, and it's about the greater good. It's about does that one step back get me 2 steps forward? Right. So in this scenario, I don't know what the scenario is, but let's make one up and say I'm a supervisor, and the supervisor position keeps me in my role 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day. If I go backwards and I take a little bit less money or maybe a lot less money, and I can afford to do that, but it gives me 2-3 hours more a day to work on what I want to do and how I get out of this next position, and it works on my future, then the answer is that would make sense to do that. If you're taking a step back, but you don't think, and your goal is 20 years from now, no, the answer is no, because keep the money. But if you looking to give yourself more hours and more time to work on another project, the answer is yes.
Right. And there also might be a scenario where you're the general manager of a small hotel. Maybe you get to be an assistant general manager for a much larger company, for a much larger hotel that has a better pathway for a career arc for you. So there's a lot of variables that you have to understand before you make some of those.
There was a really big comment.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Let me see if I can pull that back up. Give me a second. I think I
was just wondering if it's relevant.
Renovating hotels now, so when people go out to rent rooms, the owners will not lose revenue during renovations. Basically the whole point of that question is the hotels are empty right now. Should I be renovating the property now as opposed to when we have a lot of guests in there and it's a a lot more complicated?
Can you put it back up, please?
Yes, I'm going to. Oops, sorry.
Just let me read it real quick. Some feedback. Maybe you should give the show. The owner should start renovating on why the owner should start renovating hotels now. So when people go back to rent the room, the owners will not lose revenue doing renovations. Now is the time of my thoughts, but I sure would like to see a show about how I've been renovating hotels for 25 years and I'm actually slow for the first time in a long time. Okay. Again, what's the number one rule of Fight Club? Don't talk about Fight Club. What's the number one rule of this COVID scenario? Saving cash.
Yep.
Because we thought this would be 3 months. Now it's 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. saving cash. That's it. So to tell an owner now's the time to renovate your room, I don't know his room. I don't know his cash flow. I don't know. I don't know anything. So I don't know. I'm not in his pocketbook. But the number one rule is conserve cash right now.
Right.
You have to survive.
Oh, yeah. I think we're all very anxious about that. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm on austerity. I'm conserving as much cash as possible to deal with any unplanned eventuality.
You're not even using shaving cream.
I haven't done that in years. Why do you think I'm able to afford those pork butts? Right?
So let's stay on this whole hotel, not hotel, but career path. Let's not get off on questions like that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked that question.
No, that's all right. I think we are going to be wrapping up a little. We got to wrap up soon anyway. It's already about 10 after 1. But maybe
I got to go too. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe what we could do is just offer some advice on how to get to that next level. I would think, Anthony, it's really, you got to look inward and take a good, honest assessment of yourself. What are your skills? What are your deficits? Where are the places that you could improve as a career-minded person and as a human being, and work hard on those every single day to try to, smooth out those rough points and accentuate your positivity, good points already.
This is how I walk around this earth. I try to be kind to people. I want to win. I want to be successful. I want to take care of my family. Don't get in my way. I won't get in your way.
Right.
I'm never going to let anyone control me. And be kind to people. Be respectful. Live in gratitude. Make yourself happy. Don't let anybody take your brand. Don't let anybody take your spirit. And this is you. You're in this alone. I don't care if you have a great family, you have a great this, a great that. Yeah, you're in this alone. You're born alone. You die alone. And yes, we have tremendous people around us. I would never be in a position I'm in if it wasn't for the people around me. That is a given. But you have to say in your brain that I'm going to do this if I was the only person left on earth.
That's right.
Okay? I'm going to figure this out. I'm the guy that you want in a foxhole, right? Like we always think about people in the foxhole. Who do we want, right? And I have 2 or 3 people in my foxhole because I know if I was in a foxhole, I'd go to sleep and just eat the canned beans they gave me and not even worry about it because these 2 or 3 people will take care of me. So be the guy that everybody wants or the girl that everybody wants in the foxhole. Be that guy. Be that girl that everybody wants in the foxhole. Be dependable. Be caring.
That's
be
right.
Smart. But don't let anybody ever step on your toes without stepping on your toes back. I'm not an eye for an eye person necessarily, but I am a person to let you know one way or another. Yeah, you're not going to do that again. Thank you, Anthony, for always educating us on relevant issues we face as hoteliers. Any other questions? I don't want to leave.
I should say that's a former AHOA chairperson giving us that compliment over there. So that's a little bit of a big deal over there.
Right.
Let's just do this one last comment. Steve says, now's the time to lean in on your professional network. Ask for help, advice, and introduction. So many out there want to help. Reach out and start the conversation on how they might help. Not a question, but a great kicking off point for some more good advice.
And what I'll say to that is it's never been easier to do it, and it's never been harder to do it. I'll tell you why. It's never been easier because like you don't need an excuse anymore. It's like, dude, you hear about COVID? I'm screwed. My career's screwed. My family's screwed. My financial career's screwed. Everything's screwed. So I need help. So there's no more like you feel bad about it because like a handout. It's like knock the door down and say, dude, you're screwed. I'm screwed. We're all screwed. Can you help me? That's the good news. The bad news is the person's door that you just knocked down can't afford the hinges to put it back up. Because that guy who looked like he had the world by the 6 months ago may be in a really bad position and can't help you. Like there's a lot of people coming to me right now and say, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And the people I'm going to call for them are no longer in their positions.
Yeah.
So it's hard and it's easy all at the same time. But the thing is don't stop digging. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just don't stop. And take a time out. Go to the beach. Have a beer. Maybe have 2. Give yourself a break. Cry. Be upset. Talk to a friend. Be transparent with yourself, with others. Go see a psychiatrist. Whatever you need to do to get yourself healthy. This isn't about just pushing through and, yeah, we can do it. I'm not that guy at all. I am not a rah-rah guy. Be thoughtful in your approach. Be thoughtful with yourself. I say be happy, and I say be kind to yourself for a reason. Right now, I've seen people my age and older and younger struggling in really serious ways.
That's right.
The number one thing is this is not rah-rah time. This isn't I can do it time. This is I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it thoroughly, and I'm going to do it with a lot of energy and focus. And when I'm tired, I'm going to stop and I'm going to take a time out and I'm going to get people to help me and I'm going to move on. This is not a time to burn yourself out, rah-rah, and all over the place.
Well, that last part of it is something that I could certainly listen to. But yeah, we're all under more stress than we've possibly ever been in our entire lives, especially folks that have a family and maybe only a single income coming into that family. It's scary, but you guys can do it. We can all move forward together. Rely on your network.
I'm going to challenge you again. No, we can't all do it. No, we can't. There's 100% of the people listening to this. There's 2 or 3 people that can't do it.
Right.
Okay. And they're not willing to do it. They don't have the capability of doing it. So that's when you got to put yourself on full-time out, go see someone, go talk to your friend, go reevaluate yourself and say, I need help. I can't do this. Somebody needs to lift me up. I need somebody to take care of me. And that's okay. And that's why we have friends that love us. That's why we have family. That's why we have professionals. It's okay to say, no, I can't do this. And I need somebody to literally do the heavy lifting for me until I'm capable of doing it for myself. And I would be able to do it for myself, but right now I can't. So we can't leave anybody behind. We can't leave every man or woman behind. Everyone has got to be brought forward. You can do it. And if you can't do it, please, this is the time to use that insurance policy where you never ask for help, that you've been that brave person, where you've been that person that no one's ever, never needed the help. Everybody's like, oh my God, look at him. Look at her. They got the world by the nuts. Look at this. This is great. This is fantastic. And now you're hurting in a real way. It's time to knock on their door and say, I'm in a lot of trouble. Can you help?
And to use a word from another sport that I don't follow, everyone gets a mulligan right now, right? I mean, you're not necessarily going to have to cash in those favors that people give you. People are more open to helping. People are more honest with each other. People are all more on the same side of helping us all get through this together. And
before you start digging a hole deeper and say it's money, go ask that person you're uncomfortable for money. Ask them, have a plan to pay it back, have a plan to why you need it, but maybe you have to do it right now. Don't be so proud that you get yourself so dug in that you lose your house, you lose your apartment, you lose your car. Like that person will probably be mad at you if you didn't ask for help in this time of need, because this is real shit. This is real war. This is real go time. So those people that love you will be there for you. But yes, what I talk about is you are in this by yourself, and you've got to do it. So by yourself, you're in this by yourself. You know yourself, and like right now I can't do this, so I got to go pull somebody in because I am by myself and I'm not good at it. Right. So go pull somebody in. So you got to look at the nuance of what I'm saying, not just you're in this by yourself. You've got to help yourself. And by helping yourself, you have to pull people in sometimes. Yeah, I agree. All right. You do that with yourself.
So I think that's really a good place to end it. On Monday, we're going to start off another great week of good shows. I'm excited because next Thursday, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Mohegan Sun Resort Casino up in Uncasville, Connecticut. So that'll be a lot of fun.
I get so excited when I'm talking about this stuff because you make me realize about like Ece Panis and all this stuff in my career. And there's a reason, for people's either failure or success. And I kind of like talking about the failure as well as the success. And because everyone's there, everybody has been in these situations, and whether it be TV or whether it be this show that's successful or whether it be doing speaking engagements, people put people on a pedestal, and I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. You know me personally, so I'm not comfortable with that pedestal. I hate that pedestal. I love it and I hate it. I hate it where it's like I shouldn't have to get on stage and say, hey, by the way, I know what welfare is. I know what food stamps is. My father died. That's right. And, I was insecure. I got left back twice and I felt like a failure and I was insecure most of my life. Like I should have to start the conversation that way, but I have to because everybody puts you on the pedestal. It's like, look at him. He's got a TV show. He's got this, he got that. He's like, yeah, I worked really freaking hard for it. And there's been a lot of people in my corner helping me. Yes. Right. Yes. And I don't struggle with a lot of that stuff anymore, but a lot of people do. And I might tomorrow. So like, stop putting people on pedestals. That person that did the TikTok video. Oh, by the way, I got a TikTok addiction.
So does my wife.
Yeah, like that during the day, but like right before I go to sleep, I put it on. It was this lady. It was really funny. She's like this woman, or like a older woman, and she's like, "It's 2:00 in the morning. Stop looking at TikTok and go to sleep."
Yeah, my wife will say she'll get warning from TikTok telling her to stop watching videos. You've been on too long.
Yeah, and what's interesting is TikTok is not their real life, right? It's 30 seconds of their real life, right? Everybody has struggle. Everybody has disappointment. Everybody has insecurity. But you have to feed yourself what you need. You have to. You have to.
Right.
Talking about that. Take if I didn't tell you about this, you have to start taking it. It's amazing. Liquid IV. Look it up. It's fantastic. Just
Liquid IV. I call that vodka.
No, but yeah, see, but that dehydrates you. Vodka dehydrates you. We're all walking around dehydrated. Liquid IV, I take it once in the morning. I pour it in my water, man, and my energy is just through the roof.
All right. Well, we'll check it out. Good advice to end the week on. So again, we got a great set of shows for you all of next week. Looking forward to doing that. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Of course, be sure to check out our Hotel Reboot series, hotelreboot.com. You can go and order old episodes right now. We got another one coming up a week from Wednesday. And Anthony, of course, Hospitality Success, you're going to be doing more regular stuff starting next week. Is that so?
Yes, we are. Thursday at 2:00, we're doing something on Facebook where we're breaking down how I go about turning around hotels and how me and my team do that. There's somebody just posted that I see a shiny ball. It says, "I need a loan. Can any of you guys help?" The answer is no. You're not my loved one. You're not somebody I care deeply about. And I just don't got money like that. So I can't, but I wish you luck and you'll find the right person to help you.
Great. Excellent. So this has been a fun week. Great show. I love all of you guys out there, especially with all the great comments that you've been asking. It really means a lot to me, and I know probably for Anthony too, that we're helping to make some positive effect on everybody's lives out there. That's what our goal is for this show, to help educate, empower, hopefully entertain you as well. Anthony, any final thoughts before we do our official wrap up?
Yeah, this fucking sucks. But so what? You have no choice, man. This sucks.
Yep.
Don't be a victim. This sucks. I have real bad moments sometimes. We all do.
We all do.
Keep going. You have to.
Hey, I like things are so bad. The good news is it seems like we're all mostly fucked. So I don't feel as much pressure in my life as if I was the lone fuck guy in the corner. You know what I mean? But since we're all screwed, it feels much better for each and every one of us because we're all in the same position. Remember, lean on your friends, lean on your family, all support each other, look inside, do the best that you can to improve your individuality, your personhood, and all of that kind of good stuff. I'm starting to run out of the good words right now because it's Friday afternoon. And that's about it for me. Anthony, any final word of brilliance?
End the show, brother.
All right, guys, remember, I've been saying this all the time. You've got one life, so blaze on. And Anthony,
be kind to yourself.
That's all right. We'll see you guys Monday.